Well, we've got Cezanne Crusade on the line, who's going to talk about how he cured himself from epidemiitis and diverticulitis, and about his journey on how he started feeling sick and ultimately healed himself. How are you today, by the way?
I'm okay, man. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. So, when was it you first realised that you were a bit unwell with these issues?
I came back from a trip from Panama, and I had stomach pain and testicular pain. I didn't know what was going on. I just thought it would go away. And epididymitis and diverticulitis, I come to find out, it's almost like cancer. When you don't take care of it early, it gets worse over time.
Yeah.
So it got really bad for me. I thought it would get better, but it never did. It got so bad that sometimes I couldn't exercise, I couldn't do daily activities. It was just bad months on end. And then finally, I gave up and I finally went to the doctor.
Did you ever worry that it was something like cancer or something like really, really bad and could be a death sentence? Because testicular pain sounds absolutely horrible and could be life threatening.
Yeah, I mean, everything was going through my mind. I didn't know what it was. All I know is I had pain. That's it. So finally, when I went to the doctor, he laid me down on the table, started pushing down on my stomach, and then he immediately tells me, "Oh, you got diverticulitis." And then he
Yeah.
starts checking out my testicles, and oh, you got epididymitis. And so I'm like, what is that? And if you don't know, like I said, anything with an itis is inflammation. So I'm having inflammation in my gut and my large intestine. That's with diverticulitis and inflammation in my epididymis tubes. So yeah, so inflammation. So we're running tests out the wazoo. He's checking for infection, checking for STDs, checking for sexually transmitted infections, and everything comes back normal. So I'm sitting there like, what is going on? So he just says, you know what? We'll just give you some antibiotics. And I take the antibiotics, and maybe 4 or 5 days later, all the pain was gone. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, I'm cured, right?
Yeah.
But the pain comes back. And so I go back for more antibiotics. I say, hey, doc, it worked, but it didn't cure me. So he gives me more antibiotics. And I take it, pain goes away, but it comes back again. So I go back to the doctor and I sit there and I tell him, hey, it worked, but it didn't work. And then finally he's telling me no more antibiotics for you. Because if you take too much of it causes more problems.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to hear that. So I tell him I need more antibiotics, but he's saying no. If the antibiotics not working for you, maybe you need to consider taking your epididymis tubes out. He was telling me to think about surgery,
Hmm.
asking me if I have kids and if do I want kids, and if not, that's something I need to think about. But like I said, I didn't want to hear it, so I went back home and I'm looking for more antibiotics. I'm getting on Google and I'm trying to find antibiotics in India. I'm going to antibiotics in Mexico, antibiotics in Canada. I'm getting all these antibiotics sent to me because that was the only thing that worked, right?
Yeah. So, how did you cure your epidemiitis in the end? Because I gather it was kind of accidental, right?
Right. It started after I'm taking all these antibiotics. I go to the movies one day, right? Mind you, I'm taking all these antibiotics. The pain is just coming and going, coming and going. Every time I take an antibiotic, the pain would go for a couple of days, but the pain would come right back. So after I'm constantly doing this for months on end, I go to a movie theater. I never forget, man. It was like it was yesterday. I'm in the movie theater and I'm watching a movie, and I all of a sudden get the need to urinate, right? So I go to the restroom and nothing comes out. I'm sitting to myself, that's weird. And I go back to my chair, and next thing I know, my pants is full of urine. It was almost like I don't know what was going on. Coming to find out that all those antibiotics I took messed up my prostate.
Oh no.
It enlarged it. Yeah. So I'm having symptoms. I'm in my 20s and I'm
Yeah.
having symptoms like an old man. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like my life flashed before my eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, I now have prostate issues. I have testicular pain. I have stomach pain. I'm literally thinking that my life is over. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like life was being drained out of my body. So I'm thinking, like I said, my life is flashing before me, and I'm thinking of times when I was a kid, and then one memory in particular, little light bulb went off. It was when I was in Panama. I was so sick one day. I don't know if I had the flu or what. And my uncle tells me, he says, hey, I have this medicine right here that we take here. And I was like, what is it? He said, this is shark liver and honey. It was like a jar. And he opened the jar and it smelled like the ocean. And I sat there and told him, I'm not taking that. What I want is Western medicine. Take me to the pharmacy so I can get American made medicine. I want the NyQuil. I want the Tylenol. I want it all. So I go and take some of it, right? I'm going to the pharmacy. They give me all the stuff I want. I come back. I take it and nothing is working. 2 days go by. I'm still dog sick. So finally, at my wit's end, I went to my uncle and I said, let me try some of the shark liver and honey. I
Yeah.
took 2 tablespoons of it. I went to sleep that night and woke up feeling like a brand new person. You know what I'm saying? I felt like $100. Everything was gone. No longer no runny nose, no fever, no nothing. I was healed by just that shark liver and honey. And that's when I said, you know what? While I'm sitting in the movie theater, I said to myself, I have one Hail Mary left, right? I've tried the Western medicine. Now it's time to do something natural. So I'm thinking of my grandmother, how she ate cloves of garlic all the time, and she ate lentil soup. And my family in Panama was telling me about sea moss and isinglass. And my mother was always telling me as a kid, take your vitamins, eat your vegetables, eat natural foods. But back then I didn't care about that. You know what I'm saying? But now that I'm trying to heal myself naturally, I started thinking about the things that I missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when I went all in on natural medicine. And so you asked me, what did I use? And, like I said, I started doing research and I started diving in. I started reading about Socrates, how he's saying food is your medicine and medicine is like food, and everybody is their own doctor. And I started reading research on Linus Pauling and how he said that high doses of vitamin C killed cancer and all kinds of stuff. And I started remembering about my friend in Germany, because I was in the army with him, and he would always tell me that people in Germany use oxygen IVs, and I started doing research on that and how Magic Johnson was using oxygen IV injections to, help him with his HIV. And like I said, I'm just going all in. And then one day I did some research and I came across a woman who says that she took liposomal vitamin C to heal her Lyme disease. And she said that liposomal vitamin C is like vitamin C IV in a bag. It's just like a little bag, and it's got gel in it. And if you don't know what liposomal vitamin C is like vitamin C encapsulated with fat solubles. And apparently the human gut loves that stuff, and it's easily absorbed into the bloodstream. So it's literally like high doses of vitamin C IV in the bag. I bought a box of that and I started taking it. Maybe 2, 3 days later, my pain was gone from the liposomal vitamin C. It acted as the antibiotic, right?
Yeah.
But it's a natural antibiotic. So like I always tell people, natural medicine, when you take it to heal one thing, it heals other things. Like vitamin C is good for immune system, it's good for your skin, it's good for your blood vessels, versus Western medicine, antibiotic just kills parasites, infections, it doesn't do anything else. So I started taking the liposomal vitamin C, and once I felt like it was working, I knew that I was on the road to success.
Yeah.
So I just went all in. I started taking liposomal vitamin C. I started adding sea vegetables like the sea moss, the red marine algae. I started doing fasting. I started eating horseradish, turmeric, ginger. I went all in, and little by little, I think I was on this regimen, this protocol I mentioned everything in the book. I was on the protocol for at least 4 or 5 months. And then one day, no more pain. And I've been pain free ever since.
Wow. Now, you mentioned the book there. What made you want to write the book and share your experience?
Because I started making videos and I was inundated with questions after questions after questions. So I figured, you know what? Let me make a book, and that way I can help people that way. I wanted to put the information out there because apparently, if we just rely on doctors, remember, if I listened to the doctor, I would have had my epididymis tubes removed. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
wanted to make this book to help other people, that it is curable. So that's why I made the book. I wanted to help people. And sometimes, I get messages and I'm literally talking to people. Like, I'm not trying to do a get rich quick scheme. I just want to help people. So that's why I made the book. And I made a Facebook group, People are free to message me. They ask me how I did it. I tell them.
And how is the book laid out?
It's in steps, really. Beginning of the book, I talk about all the herbs versus drugs, the healing of natural herbs, how I got rid of epididymitis using a protocol. It's basically a protocol book starting from step one all the way to leafy greens. I start talking about seeds and nuts, and everything you need is right here in the book. So yes, that's how I set it up.
And do you think this solution to curing your epididymitis would work for everybody?
Well, everybody's different. However, if you have, because epididymitis and diverticulitis could be caused by an array of things.
Yeah.
Like if you have herpes, it could cause epididymitis. If you have gonorrhea, it could cause epididymitis. Whatever's causing the epididymitis, you definitely would have to heal that first. You know what I'm saying? In my case, all my tests came back negative. You know what I'm saying? And some people that I usually help people where their tests come back negative, because if you have a disease that's causing your epididymitis, you have to take care of that, because this protocol is not curing HIV. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This protocol is not curing gonorrhea. This is strictly for epididymitis and diverticulitis. It's mainly an inflammation buster. So yes, this is what I use to cure my epididymitis. And I mean, every case is different. However, I mean, you can use it. I mean, inflammation, liposomal vitamin C, high doses of vitamin C, like I started using this, and I like I said, I used to have back pain. When I served in Iraq, I had horrible back pain. I got on this protocol to cure my diverticulitis and my epididymitis, and next thing you know, I'm curing my back pain.
Yeah.
So it's out of, I can't explain the human body, but it's a magnificent thing. You know what I mean?
Certainly. Now, there are also some video tools which you've briefly mentioned. What kind of things do we learn from the videos? Is it similar to the book?
Yeah, it's similar to the book. I just explain how I use some of the herbs, like how I make sea moss in a smoothie, or how I use horseradish powder, or how I use red marine algae, you know what I mean, or how I make turmeric rice. So basically, I talk about things like that in the videos.
Well, where are we able to go to find out more information about this, find the book and the videos and any other references?
Yeah, you can go to Amazon, Saison Cure for Epididymitis using Liquid Gold. I believe it's on iBook, Apple iBook, YouTube, Saison Crusade. You can go to 22 verse 2 is the website. It's a news site. I'm one of the co-herbalists there. Also, there's going to be a new app coming maybe a couple of days from now, and you can go download the app and go to categories, and I have the product list there for epididymitis, and yeah, everything's there. All the tools are there.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been very helpful to have you on, and good luck with your future health.
All right, so thank you.